It's now time for the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, iTunes, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and the MikeWagnerShow.com. Mike brings you great guests and interesting people from all across the globe. So sit back, relax, and enjoy another great episode of the Mike Wagner Show.
Hey everybody, it's Mike from the Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Look at a professional website without breaking your budget. Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with a wonderful gentleman from California. He's a multi-talented singer, songwriter, musician. He's into indie funk electric, and he's also got a self-titled debut, which came out in 2016. Also got some music, Bang Pop Sting, Light Shines Through. Also has a few singles out. We're going to be playing one of those in just a minute. And just amazing influence as well, too, from the Black Keys, the White Stripes, Prince, and more. And ladies and gentlemen, live from sunny California, the Blacklighter himself, Jonny Shemz of Blacklighter Music. Johnny, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thanks for joining us today.
My man, thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's great to have you on, Johnny. So you're from the California area. You're a singer, songwriter, musician. You're pretty multi-talented. You've got a self-titled album, which came out in 2016. You also got Bang Pop Sting, Light Shines Through, which we're going to play later on today. We also got some other ones like Time and Space, Friday Faith, Altar, Bring Me Back, Rough Beauty, and more as well, too. He also influences like Black Keys, White Stripes, and Prince, such as Sound Like. And before we get into all that, tell us how I got started.
I got started, I'm one of those kids that both of their parents were artists. And so my father was a jazz musician, and he played with all the greats. So I pretty much grew up with, working musicians coming in and out of the house. So I was starting to play guitar and piano and sing pretty young, whether I wanted to or not. You get my drift?
Yeah. It's kind of like fed to you no matter what. You like it or not. It's like being fed, whatever's on the plate, you have to eat it.
That's right. I mean, of course, I complained a lot at the time, but now it's all worth it. It's all worth it. So I'm actually very thankful.
Mm-hmm. And of course, what was that one moment that influenced you into what you're doing precisely? So what was that aha moment for you?
You're going to laugh, maybe these people will laugh, but I think somewhere at one point I had snuck into, I might be dating myself here, but I had snuck into the premiere of Purple Rain.
Really? That was one of my favorite movies, believe it or not. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I was really young, and obviously it was rated R. I don't know how I got in there, but I was just so determined because he had been my hero since a boy. So once I saw that, it was pretty much, that's what I'm doing. It went to the extent when I wanted to model my whole bedroom based off of his bedroom little studio he had in the movie. It was pretty crazy. I think everybody has their first hero that really makes them want to do it or make them believe that they can do it and find somebody that you can identify with. So basically, that guy Prince was pretty much the dude that made it be like I always say, Prince maybe want to be a rock star, but Stevie Wonder, let's say old school Stevie Wonder, maybe want to be like a singer and a lyricist and stuff like that. So that's pretty much when it started.
Mm-hmm. And who are some of your other influences as well, too? And who are some of your other favorite artists, singers, musicians growing up?
That's always interesting because listening to the kind of stuff that I do, you probably wouldn't think, but aside from Prince, I had a big influence from this guy. He passed in the 90s, but his name was Jeff Buckley. And he was an incredible singer-songwriter, and he really kind of changed my whole view on music because he was super, super emotional and highly musical. And he was one of those guys that I think he had, I don't know, 2 albums or something, and he died on the, I think he might have drowned in the Mississippi River or something like that. That was a big guy. And another one that really kind of really hit me upside the head. I don't know, maybe you're familiar with them, but there's a band called The Roots. And I think mid-90s they came in and they just kind of reshaped the whole hip-hop scene. And I'm not necessarily a hip-hop artist, obviously, but it is part of my background. But that was another big-time experience for me,
Mm-hmm. And how about some of your other favorite genres as well, too?
You know what I like? I like kind of like industrial, like rock, like kind of like Nine Inch Nails kind of stuff, I'm really into that. That's really interesting. But I get highly influenced by a lot of Afro pop stuff, a lot of early Nigerian music from Fela Kuti, Femi Kuti, things like that. So I'm a big lover of things funky. So I don't really care what genre it is, as long as it kind of makes my neck move a little bit, and as long as like it kind of does something to my body where I can't really sit still. I just love that, So.
Mm-hmm. And it's amazing too. It also made me think. You talk about that type of music, Lay Smith, Black Manzambo, and South Africa, and I thought they were very interesting to listen to.
Yeah, super powerful stuff, and those guys are kind of like the James Browns of Africa, if you want to say, it's just really cool stuff. Yeah. And
I can imagine him doing James Brown. I feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my goodness. We're here with Jonny Shemz of Blacklighter Music. We'll talk about some of your music. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking for a professional website without breaking your budget? Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support at sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on themikewagnershow.com. You can check our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Also on Anchor FM, Radio Public, iTunes, Google Play, and over 35 platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Jonny Shemz of Blacklighter Music here on the Mike Wagner Show, talking about some of his background, some of his roots and influences, and many, many more when it comes to his music. And we'll talk about his self-titled debut album in 2016, along with Bang, Pop, Sting, and Light Shines Through. And tell us about your self-titled album as well, too, and some of your other works.
Okay, well, that record was made, we started that project quite a while ago, and we released an EP in 2016, but we've since kind of realized that it's kind of more economically sound and to release single by single now. So that's what we're doing. We're just releasing one by one. All of that record, there's about 14 songs on that record. And for the most part, when I was recording those songs and writing lyrics to those songs, I was going through, I guess you would say, a very hard time in my life where I was, let's just say my lifestyle wasn't really conducive to being healthy and clear and, alive much longer. So I was in the middle of that struggle when I was writing these songs. And ironically, once I came to recording the vocals, I had found my way out of it. So a lot of the songs are about that struggle. And, without me going too much into detail, I think the lyrics you can apply to any situation. It's kind of, all those songs are about just like, I need to get out of this dark hole and I need to find out who I was. I mean, the whole story of Blacklighter in the first place, it didn't even start out as a band. It was just, I was literally living in a house full of drug addicts. and I had my own room, and I had to hide from these people, and there was no electricity, and I had to use this little black lighter to maneuver my way through these rooms to get to the kitchen or to the bathroom, and this lighter started to become a symbol for me that all I needed was this little tiny flame to be able to find my way back to myself. And so fast forward, 8 years later, now I'm in a completely different situation, because once I realized the Blacklighter thing, then I realized, well, this is a great band name, and maybe I should make a record. Maybe I should make a record about this. Maybe I should talk about this. I'm sure other people go through the same thing. It doesn't have to be exactly my experience, but anybody can relate to personal transformation or shedding off things that no longer serve them. So that's what that record is pretty much all about. Every single song is about that in some way, whether it's your relationship to yourself or relationships with family members, or that's pretty much how that whole thing started on. And I've continued on to kind of still write in that same kind of, let's say, motif, if you want to say, subject wise, because now, especially now, I think we're just living in times that are just very uncertain. And I think a lot of people are reevaluating their lives and evaluating what it really means to be happy and be fulfilled and satisfied with life. And so I find that those songs that I wrote such a long time ago are actually kind of more fit now than they did when they were actually recorded. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and with the magic of technology, you can record something 5 years ago and then go in and remix it and make it sound current, and so that's basically what we've been doing for the last 5 years or so.
It sounds like you've done a great job with that album as well, too. Then you proceed where Light Shines Through. You can tell us all about that.
Light Shines Through is actually, there you go. It was kind of like, there's also a video attached to that kind of really explains it, but it was basically that kind of idea where, we all go through so much here, and we all feel like we give so much energy and to whatever we're doing and not really getting a lot in return. And there's this idea that, like, at one point, if you kind of have a moment of surrender and you just kind of give your trust away that, everything is kind of, as long as you're doing your job, just trust, and in what you're doing, and that light. I think we all have those days, we have those dark nights of the soul, and then it seems like you could never get out of it, but you always kind of do. You find a window somewhere to kind of save yourself mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And so that's what that really means. That's basically my whole struggle in one song. It basically explains the whole thing. Yeah.
And it sounds like you've done a nice job with it well, too. And it looks like you've hit your big one so far, Bang, Pop, Sting. And tell us about that and the story behind you have Bang, period, Pop, period, Sting, period. Look at Mike. Very nice. Yes.
Yeah. That was that one. Along with dealing with my lifestyle and my current situation when I made that record, I was also in kind of toxic relationships that were all centered around that, so I had to break a lot of those off. So Bang, Pop, Sting is kind of like, in a nutshell, like, listen, baby, I love you, but we're just not good together. And I got to get out of here. And I know you don't agree, but it's all good. You're going to thank me later. And kind of that internal struggle of like, is now the moment? Should I do it now or maybe next week? And it never comes up. The perfect time never comes. And that's basically what I did in my situation. I just bolted. I knew one day it was my time, and I never regret it. I think we've all gone through that in some way. Some people leave jobs. Some people just, they just make like a really abrupt change and go left instead of right or something like that. And that's what that song's about. And so the bang, the pop, and the sting is basically just remembering the dynamic between me and that particular person, that it was always kind of volatile, if you might say. You know what I'm saying? So That's what that's about.
And of course, it's not you, it's me, they say, but they took us to the next level. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Pretty much. And then we're going to play the your current one as well, too, Light Shines Through by Blacklighter. But first, listen to The Mike Wagner Show at themikewagnershow.com, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. Looking at a professional website without breaking our budget, Sonic Web Studios is the answer. Sonic Web Studios offers fast, affordable custom web designs that blow the competition away. Call today at 1-800-303-3960. That's 1-800-303-3960. Or email to support@sonicwebstudios.com. Mention the Mike Wagner Show. Get 10% off your first order. Sonic Web Studios. Take your image to the next level. Also, the Mike Wagner Show can be heard on the MikeWagnerShow.com. You can check our Facebook page at Facebook.com/The Mike Wagner Show. You can download and listen on Facebook, SoundCloud, Spreaker, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, as well as iTunes, Google Play, and Apple, over 25 podcast platforms. Take the Mike Wagner Show with you on any mobile device. Subscribe to the Mike Wagner Show on the YouTube channel. Also follow the Mike Wagner Show on Instagram and Twitter today. We're here with Jonny Shemz of Blacklighter Music here on the Mike Wagner Show from the California area, singer-songwriter, multi-talented musician, and right now we got the latest here and one of his most popular on Spotify, SoundCloud, and all the streaming platforms. Here's Light Shines Through from Blacklighter right here on the Mike Wagner Show.
When I first met you, I was a man. Now I'm a god. Until I met you, I was a man. Now I'm a god. And when the wheels start turning around, and when the world starts crumbling down, it's all the same to me. It's all the same. It's all the same. We're the stadium.
That was Light Shines Through from Blacklighter here on the Mike Wagner Show. Great tune, by the way, from Jonny Shemz. And tell us more about that song and what inspired you to write Light Shines Through.
Light Shines Through was kind of, it was one of those songs where I was having a hard time with the lyrics, and I was trying to find a way to express that moment when you kind of, maybe some people might call it rock bottom, or people just might call it a moment of clear realization where I just understood that you better get your house in order, my man, because it's slowly falling apart. And so the light shines through is kind of like the light bulb, and that moment that I think everybody has, whether you're in a bad relationship, or whether you're in a bad business partnership, or whether there's just some aspects of your lifestyle that you'd like to change. And, you know, there is that thing they say you can't change overnight. And I kind of believe that you can. Because once you make the decision, it's just a slow progress to where you need to go, you know, and that's what's going on. That's where that came from.
Mm-hmm. It sounds like one of those moments, and I've had those moments too, where it's like, you know, you're frustrated at something, and all of a sudden it's like you have those aha moments, eureka, light bulb goes off, like the Thomas Edison method, and yeah, it's one of those things that just, you know, aha, like that. So, I see you have a special guest. So, do you have a special guest with you?
Well, I live downtown, and when I live downtown, I block from what you would call Skid Row. So sometimes you have people everybody's hurting now, so people are asking for change and whatever you have. But I'm kind of busy right now, so I can't, you know.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a guest. I was going to say you can probably just have them on as well, too. And, of course, you know, I've had pets on. I've had people drop by and everything like that. It's like they're always welcome to come on. So, you know, tell them about it. But I guess that person wanted to pass by. I said, yeah, that's fine. So.
Yeah. So
that's a good thing. It's all what's part of the show is all about, spontaneity too. And
right.
And also too, just a few more things with Jonny Shemz from Blacklighter Music here on the Mike Wagner Show. And what are your upcoming plans for 2020 and beyond? What can we expect from you?
Well, 2020, obviously, we're in a kind of a strange situation, but it hasn't really changed my lifestyle too much, because I was already in my house all the time writing material, right? So now I just have so many songs already ready to go. So after this release that's coming up on the 20th for The Inevitable, I'm just going to start releasing songs, you know, without a huge like campaign about follow us and like us. Because at this point, it's just more important to me that I could share my music. So that's what's going to be coming up. So expect that. Mm-hmm. Expect that, yeah.
And it's also important as well, too. Where can we find your music?
Well, you can find it on any platform. If you look at the band is called Blacklighter. So if you go to Spotify, if you go to iTunes, if you go on all streaming platforms, you're going to find it under Blacklighter. And we also have a YouTube channel. It's called Blacklighter Music, and it's the same thing because we make all of our own videos, and we try to do everything DIY. Do it yourself.
Right, DIY. That's right. Do it yourself.
DIY. Yeah. So that's what's up right now.
That's fantastic. And once again, Jonny Shemz of Blacklighter Music here on the Mike Wagner Show. And a couple more things with you. We'll love to have back on. You've been great. Looking forward to having again soon. Who do you consider biggest influence in your career?
Biggest influence in my career. I'll tell you, the biggest influence for me with music, mostly it's going to be Bob Marley, because obviously there's this music, but just the effect that he had on people. It's kind of like my kind of this is a standard that I would maybe one time like to get, because it seemed to be that no matter, even if you didn't like reggae, you know Bob Marley and you know what he represents. And he had an amazing ability to bring people together. And I just hope that I can give back to a world that has given me so much, because I have so many gifts and I just want to share them, and I just want to inspire people. And hopefully if I can just do 10% of what my man Bob Marley did, you know, then that would be awesome. You know, I mean, on a more personal level, my parents, both of them being artists, I mean, I never had to worry about pleasing my parents or doing something else, or I was always supported in what I did. So I really thank them for always letting me know that whatever decisions I wanted to make in my life, artistically, they always backed. So it's really important. I mean, I have a son of my own, and even though he is into music, I never try to influence him because I want him to be his own person, and I want him to have his own inspirations, and I don't want to meddle too much with his experience. And so and
that's very important too. And when he grows up, he can play alongside you, and he can be on as well too. So that's really good what you're doing as well too, Jonny. And once again, Jonny Shemz of Blacklighter here on the Mike Wagner Show. Jonny, big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic and inspirational. Looking forward to having you again soon, and keep us up to date. And before we go here, once again, tell us about your upcoming projects. What's your website? How do people contact you? Where can people purchase or listen to your music?
Okay, well, you can listen to our music on all of the platforms, all streaming platforms. So Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, we're all over the place there. We do have a website. It's called blacklightermusic.com. You go there. There's a sign-up email, and that's the way you can get in contact with us. But always feel free to drop me a line on any of, Instagram, Facebook. You're all going to find it on Blacklighter. Anywhere you go, just put in Blacklighter in the Google search, and you're going to find me there. So,
sounds very good. Jonny, again, big thank you for your time. You've been fantastic. Looking forward to having you again soon. Do us a favor, keep us up to date. We'd love you to have you back on 2020. You've been great.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks for listening to The Mike Wagner Show, powered by Sonic Web Studios. Visit online at sonicwebstudios.com for all your needs. The Mike Wagner Show can be heard on Spreaker, Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, YouTube, Anchor FM, Radio Public, and themikewagnershow.com. Please support our program with your donations at themikewagnershow.com. Join us again next time for another great episode of The Mike Wagner Show.